On a quiet Saturday night in the small coastal town of Southport, North Carolina, locals and tourists gathered at a popular waterfront bar called the American Fish Company. Music played, laughter filled the air, and the sound of clinking glasses mixed with the ocean breeze. But in just a matter of moments, that peaceful evening was shattered when bullets rained down from the water. Panic, screams, and chaos replaced the sound of music. Within minutes, 3 people were dead, 5 more were wounded, and the small town of Southport would never be the same again. This is the story of the Southport mass shooting, a crime that shocked the nation, not only because of its brutality, but also because of the unusual way it was carried out. From a boat, under the cover of night, leaving people scrambling for their lives. Today we'll dive deep into what happened that night, who the suspect was, why this attack may have taken place, and how it fits into the larger conversation about gun violence in America. Stay with me until the end, because there are unanswered questions, hidden layers, and chilling details that will leave you thinking long after this story is over. Before we talk about the crime itself, we need to understand the setting. Southport, North Carolina, is a picturesque town located along the Cape Fear River and the Atlantic coast. Known for its fishing community, historic charm, and waterfront bars, Southport is the kind of place people visit to escape the noise of big cities. The American Fish Company, the bar where the shooting happened, isn't just a random establishment. It's one of the most popular spots in town. With open decks overlooking the water, live bands, and a friendly local crowd, it attracts both residents and tourists. For many in Southport, a night out at this bar was routine, a safe place to unwind. No one could have imagined that this very location would become the center of a national headline. A crime scene remembered for its unusual and terrifying circumstances. It was the evening of Saturday, September 27, 2025. The American Fish Company was buzzing with energy. People were dancing, others were enjoying drinks, and the atmosphere was lighthearted. But just outside the bar, in the darkness of the water, something sinister was about to unfold. A man named Nigel Edge, 40 years old, positioned himself on a boat not far from the waterfront bar. From that hidden position, he armed himself and prepared to open fire. At around 10:30 p.m., witnesses recall hearing what they first thought were fireworks. But within seconds, the horrifying reality set in. Gunfire was erupting from the water. Bullets tore through the open-air sections of the bar. People screamed, ducked, and ran in all directions. Tables were overturned, glasses shattered, and the peaceful night became a scene of terror. By the time the shooting stopped, 3 people had lost their lives. 5 others were injured. Dozens more were traumatized by what they had just witnessed. Survivors recall running toward the exits, some jumping behind walls, others diving onto the floor. With shots coming from the water, no one knew where safety was. Emergency calls flooded 911. Police and first responders rushed to the scene, trying to secure the area while helping the injured. Southport, a town unaccustomed to mass violence, was now living through a nightmare. The shooter was identified as Nigel Edge, a 40-year-old man with a complicated history. Authorities revealed that Edge had lived in North Carolina for several years. While initial reports did not suggest ties to terrorism or organized crime, investigators quickly dug into his past to understand what could drive someone to commit such a brutal act. Not much is publicly known about Edge's childhood or personal relationships. Neighbors described him as quiet but sometimes odd. Some hinted at possible mental health struggles, but nothing officially confirmed. The burning question remains: why did he do it? At the time of the incident, Edge's motive was not fully clear. Some theories included a personal grudge against someone at the bar, a history of conflict with locals, or possibly deeper issues such as anger, resentment, or mental instability. Unlike many mass shootings that end with the suspect dead, police were able to arrest Nigel Edge alive. This means investigators will have the chance to directly question him, uncover his motives, and piece together the truth. He has since been charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder, attempted murder, weapons-related charges. The fact that Edge was taken alive makes this case especially significant. Answers may yet come to light. Within hours of the shooting, Southport police, state investigators, and federal agencies became involved. Investigators recovered shell casings and examined the trajectory of bullets fired from the boat. They also impounded Edge's boat for forensic analysis. Dozens of people who had been at the bar described the sheer panic, confusion, and chaos. Many thought at first that the shots were part of the live music, until they saw people collapsing. Cameras from the waterfront area may hold crucial evidence, including footage of Edge's approach to the bar by boat. As the case proceeds, prosecutors will be building one of the strongest cases possible against Edge. With multiple eyewitnesses, forensic evidence, and the suspect alive in custody, this will likely lead to a high-profile trial. Behind every headline, there are real lives impacted. 3 lives were cut short that night. Their names, families, and stories turned this tragedy from just another statistic into something deeply personal for the community. Vigils were held across Southport, where people lit candles, prayed, and remembered the victims. For the 5 people who were injured, recovery will not only be physical but emotional. Some may never feel safe in public spaces again. Others may struggle with trauma for years to come. The unusual nature of this attack, a mass shooting carried out from a boat, made headlines across the nation. National news, outlets like CNN, NBC, and the Associated Press covered the story extensively. Social media, hashtags like #SouthportShooting and #PrayForSouthport trended as people expressed shock, grief, and anger. Gun violence debate. Once again, the tragedy reignited America's ongoing debate about gun control, access to firearms, and public safety. The Southport mass shooting highlights several larger issues. 1. Gun violence in America. Mass shootings continue to occur in unexpected places. 2. Public safety at waterfronts. This case exposed vulnerabilities in venues near open water. 3. Mental health and crime. Many asked whether signs of instability were missed in Edge's past. 4. Community healing. How do small towns recover when violence shatters their sense of security? The Southport tragedy raises haunting questions. Why did Nigel Edge choose that bar on that night? Or was he targeting someone specific? Or was this a random act of violence? Could this attack have been prevented? And most importantly, how many more communities must face nights like this before something changes? For now, Southport continues to mourn, heal, and search for answers. This was the story of the Southport mass shooting of 2025. A night when joy turned to horror, when safety turned to chaos, and when a small coastal town was forever changed. If you found this breakdown informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime documentaries and in-depth case analyses. Stay safe, stay aware, and until next time, keep asking the questions that matter.